Thanks for joining us here on sportsradio610.com. You can catch us weekdays between 2 and 7 on the air, and we're hoping, as always, to hear from as many of you as possible from time to time via these videos. We knock around a few topics that come up on the show, and since we've hit the bye week for the Texans, not a bad time after 6 games to maybe do a little assessment of what's going on between the lines with this ball club, because clearly there's some good, there's some bad. We're going to go ahead and assign letter grades to the offense, defense, and special teams, as well as an overall team grade. And if we want to start with the offense, I got to go B+. The offense has certainly been up and down at some points this season and had a couple of bad games against the Giants and Cowboys. But when you're 4-2, you've been tied for the lead atop the division the entire season, and you've got Matt Schaub and Andre Johnson doing their things. Andre Johnson, through the first 6 games, has already made 2 catches that will go down in the history of this franchise as 2 of the greatest plays ever. Arian Foster emerging as a real force. I'm going B+ for the offense.
I know they've had a couple of bad games, but I'm going to go ahead and give them an A, because A, they found their running game. I thought that was critical to this season. They have one of the best running games in the league. Arian Foster has been a huge find as an undrafted player in just his 2nd year. He's one of the best in the league running the football. The offensive line has shored things up. They played without Andre Johnson in one game, and he's been slowed down a little bit, and I still think their passing attack is one of the best in the league. I'm going to give the offense an A. The defense, it's another story.
Yeah, defense, I've decided on a D- instead of an F. Because until the Chiefs game, they were actually a pretty good rush defense, and then everything fell apart against the rush against the Chiefs. They have been without one of their best playmakers in Brian Cushing the first 4 games of the season. Injury to a player like Connor Barwin, who is expected to have a breakout season in terms of the pass rush. So I think there have been some factors, but obviously the decision to go as young as they've gone at the cornerback position could haunt them all season. It certainly has through the first 6. There's no masking that through 6, this is one of the worst defenses in the NFL. D-.
I had them at an F until the last 2 series of the Chiefs game, because they finally stopped the Chiefs and gave the Texans a chance to win that game. If they had let the Chiefs drive down and score a couple more touchdowns, I'd give them a flat-out F. I'll give them a D- too. The pass rush has been non-existent. Mario Williams started out great, but he hasn't even had as promising of a season as it looked like it was going to be the first 2 games. The linebackers, with DeMeco Ryans going down for the year, you can't fault him for the injury, but Brian Cushing, we're still waiting for him to completely shake the rust off and be the player he was last year. And the defensive secondary, I mean, from the young cornerbacks to even the safeties, we've already had a couple of changes in the defensive backfield with a couple of changes at safety, and it hasn't made any difference. The defense has got to shore things up. I don't think the Texans make the playoffs unless they get the problems fixed defensively.
All right, real quick on special teams, I'm just going to go C because it's right in the middle. I mean, there's been some good, some bad. Obviously, their return teams have been not good at all. Rackers has done just about everything you could expect Neil Rackers to do, although he's got a couple of fairly long-range misses. So some good, some bad. I'll go C on special teams through 6.
Yeah, I'll go C-. I mean, the return game, the kick return game has been absolutely horrible. I think they're going to have to change things up soon and give a look to somebody else other than Steve Slayton. Jacoby Jones has had a couple of exciting returns, but he hasn't broken a long one. And Neil Rackers has missed some key field goals. Matt Turk's about the only one performing up to par, and John Weeks, the long snapper, too.
Overall team grade, I'm actually going to go B, despite the state of the defense. And I know some people might think that's a little high, but the bottom line is the record. And they're 4-2. Every week of the season, they've been tied for first place in the division. And every close game they've played, when the game could have gone either way, late and close, they've won. To me, that is a significant improvement over the old Texans, who never were able to find ways to win those close games. They've done it in every close game they've played in so far this season. I'll go B.
Yeah, they've had 6 games and 2 stinkers. I'm going to go B-. They've been good in those 4 games that they've won, but the 2 games they've lost, they've gotten just blown over. I mean, they didn't come to play against the Giants or the Cowboys. I'll go B-, a little bit lower than you, but they still have a good shot at the playoffs.
There's your bye week Texans grades. Thanks for joining us here on sportsradio610.com.